Okay, we've officially started.
Mm. Can we start with a prayer?
A prayer? Sure.
This is all in your hands, Lord. We give it to you. We want you to bless what we're doing. I have no idea what I'm actually doing, but
Well, we're here to make sure that all your stories are recorded and your face is recorded, and we get to have all of your stories forever. So, but it really started with Grandpa and starting to talk about him and
yeah. And I think it's important. Family history is very important to pass down. And that's why the main reason I'm doing this, because I don't have a lot of the history from my grandparents I know some of it, but it's important. You have to hand it down to all the younger generations, all your children and the children to come. And that's pretty awesome that technology can do that these days.
Well, didn't you used to record on cassette tapes?
Yeah, I have a few things. Actually, there's an old tape up there. I think it was the whole family did it when we were in North Carolina in the service, and they sent us a tape. And boy, it was so good to hear everybody's voices. And yeah, but now, and then the old movies and things we have, that's important too, because those are gems that you don't want to get rid of, and old letters. And the more I look around the house, it's like I keep finding more things.
Well, you said you found some love letters. Was that today you found them?
No, I knew where they were. I guess it all really got all opened up again because when Grandpa died, it just made it more important in a way, and things to look into, like our history, how it all began, and where it is now. It's a whole different lifestyle. And I used to pray for widows, and now I am one.
Well, I was going to ask you how, now that we're kind of almost 2 months out, how you feel now compared to...
It's true that time starts healing in a way, but there's certain things that just choke me up. I'll think about something, or to see him on the chair there still once in a while where he died. I just went over to the chair last night and just was just choked up, not bawling or crying that hard, but it was just like, "Ooh, where are you? This is where you should be." It's not real easy. You have tough moments, but they pass. And I think, like you said, I have faith. So I know this deep in my heart. He's at peace. He went through a lot of stuff, and it was his time. And I knew that the day that we could see him, restless and uncomfortable, and that it was time. I was almost like it was his part of being on the cross for a while. And that was hard for everybody to see. And there were people in and out. I said to your mom, I said it was like a vigil. Mm-hmm. Like there were people coming, it was like I don't know. It was a vigil of waiting and being there for him. When the kids brought in that photo,
Wolfgang and Sophie?
No, the screen thing they brought. Oh, yeah. They bought it for him because he loved looking at pictures on the phones when he was in rehab and in the hospital.
Yeah, we're looking at a digital frame that's going through photos of my grandpa. So,
but that, I think, that got set up, and I don't think he ever really saw it, but the idea was so helpful later.
Yeah.
When we didn't have to drag out every album or picture he had to put out for his wake, Yeah. Because all we did was have everybody send pictures of him, and boy, that worked out beautifully.
Good thing you got grandkids that love taking pictures of videos.
I'm always, you took a picture of that? Your mother took a picture of me looking at the photo frame. Which was funny. I said, I have the same top on. She goes, I just did that.
But no, I love that photo. And it just made all of us, like all the grandkids, go through our own photos and go through our own grieving like process going through photos in and of itself.
It was, I thought I was the one grieving the hardest, and maybe I was in a sense, I don't know. But just seeing how it affected the whole family, because he was the head of our family. He was, and he kind of took that seriously all his life, I think. He was a good father, a good husband, a good grandfather, a good great-grandfather, and always faithful. I think that was the beauty of his life, was his faithfulness to God and to his family. That was number one. Number two.
And I think because he took it so seriously, like, we all felt that, for sure.
Mm-hmm.
That's why so many people showed up,
Oh, that funeral was...
It was packed.
I couldn't believe we had, 2 hours in the...
And it wasn't even enough time.
In the gathering space in church, and everybody kept saying, hurry up. You can't talk to everyone so long. You can't hug everybody that comes in. And I did. And they wanted, I needed their hugs, that was helping too, to just realize the love people had for him and for me, that they were there for me too, and for all of us, I was thinking just our friends and stuff. Then I realized everybody there, my kids, my grandkids, they all had friends that were coming.
Yeah.
And it, that just was beautiful too.
Mo's been sending me like Snapchat, like she took Snapchat videos of Grandpa. Like, so she just sent me a memory the other day. So like, he was just Grandpa Stash.
Yeah.
To a lot of people. Because I know that Becky and Jenny and all them, like that Uncle Stash and Aunt Carole, like you guys stepped up, and from what they've told me,
I don't know. He never planned things. I usually plan things like, we're going here, we're going to this graduation, or we're going to this baptism, or we're going to this first communion, or whatever it was, the birthday party. And he just came. He just knew, that was part of his role, and he took it seriously. And he didn't argue with me, unless it was something silly that I wanted to do sometimes. But for the most part,
unless you're making him do his physical therapy,
walk with his walker. Or tell him to eat at the end when he didn't want to eat, and he just, I'm not hungry. That was hard.
Yeah,
because I just kept thinking of Busha, how she always made us eat. She would say papu, papu. I guess that meant eat in Polish. That was his mom. She was, and that's a thought too, to think he's with everybody that's already gone before us,
Well, yeah, we think about the packed church of like people that are alive. Like, think of the crowd that was like waiting for him.
That's true. And they already had greeted him while we were greeting each other and holding each other up through the hard part, the painful part. But I loved everything. The day of the wake and the funeral, the mass was beautiful. Everybody did such a great job. It was touching in so many ways to so many people, I think, too. And then the military part at the cemetery was, he would have loved that, because he was a patriot, in so many ways. Cool. He loved being part of this United States and being in the Army. Everyone said that was very cool too. And then to see Father there to conclude everything with a prayer after all the shots were fired and all the stuff they do, presenting the flag and all that really started getting me there again.
Well, just like powerful is what comes to mind, because like you had so many like decorated soldiers and veterans coming up to you and saluting you and saying these powerful words to you. And I also just, like, going back to just the church service, I will never forget, because I was sitting towards the front, so I wasn't really looking at the people coming in behind me, but Father Jim, right, is his name? Mm-hmm. When Father Jim was like, I didn't realize like how big Stash's family was, and then like that's when I took a second to turn around and I was like, holy crap, like there's standing room only in this church, and
that doesn't happen at St. Stephen's very often.
And that was, like I said, only the people that stayed for that mass. Like that's not even the people that came in
and went.
Yeah.
A lot that couldn't because they had jobs and work, and it was a weekday, so I understood that too. But just that they even stopped and
Yeah.
just said, "I'm there for you," or "We're there for you," or "We care about you." That's what I don't know. All I kept thinking all day, and all my life, I've been seriously just called to the scripture that says God is love. I mean, I bring that up no matter what's going on, a
Yeah.
wedding or a funeral. It's when we love one another, God is so present. He is there with us. He is love, and love is God. So, and our family is very loving. We're so blessed, so blessed. That's all I could think was, I'm so blessed. We kind of started this whole thing, and
Tale of two lovers.
yeah,
Yeah.
and his life, was so good. I don't know. I take such consolation in that. His life was good. Our life was good. It was just right. It just always felt right.
Yeah.
Even when we had our tiffs and stuff like that, but not very often. The older we got, the more I think we appreciated each other.
I think you say tiffs, but I think you guys have gone through quite a bit. Just tragedy and otherwise, and stayed together and persevere. So
we had some good arguments in our younger days. And
have you ever given Grandpa the silent treatment? Like, has there been a day where you're like, I'm not talking to Grandpa till he apologizes?
I don't know if I've ever done that, because I was never a silent kind of person.
So you're like, let's find it out.
I would just, he would know I was upset. And that generally was when he drank too much at a party or something,
Yeah.
It's like, he doesn't know when to stop. That used to anger. That was probably the worst thing about him that I couldn't stand. Because I didn't want him to be humiliated. And I didn't want to have a husband that I didn't like that, Yeah. So he knew when he drank too much. He just, I would just ignore him for a while. I didn't give him the silent treatment. I'd just ignore him, go about my business and stuff, and then he usually would apologize. Kind of. Not all the time.
I was going to say, who apologized first in your guys' relationship, would you say?
I think mostly it was him. And later, though...
He was obsessed with you, Grandma.
Yeah. Later, I found myself apologizing. Just because I felt like maybe I wasn't doing all that I could, or that I was short and I was upset because I had so much to do and it was hard to take care of him in a lot of ways.
You're talking like towards...
Yeah, I'd say even the last year was getting pretty rough. I wasn't sure how much more I could do, without being totally exhausted myself. There were nights I went to bed and I was like, but of course I'm a late owl too, so I had to always get everybody in bed and then I could unwind,
So how's that adjustment been?
No, I started, at first I was getting up earlier. I'm back to the old thing again.
Me and my mom bet. We were like, she's going to be up at 3 a.m.
I was.
I was on the phone with you.
They know they can call me.
Yeah.
When they're on a drive from Boston or...
with friends.
No, I wasn't playing Words with Friends. I was just watching a silly movie, and I'm into the puzzles on my iPad are fun.
The jigsaw ones?
Yeah.
Oh, fun.
I really enjoyed those.
I actually just bought a live jigsaw puzzle. I have the border done, then I left Boston, so.
Cool. Yeah, I always like doing them on a board or on the dining room table. We always had one set up. But I think it was, in a sense, therapeutic for me while he was in the the rehab center and the hospital, when I just... he would fall asleep and be sound asleep, and I just had my iPad and I'd do puzzles because I could stop the puzzle at any point, if he woke up or someone came in.
Yeah.
So that kind of worked out better than trying to get interested. So I was just like, I'll finish this puzzle later,
Yeah.
But I find myself still doing a puzzle. I enjoy them. They're kind of challenging, some of them.
In terms of like timeline wise, it was kind of like Easter was like the great day that Grandpa had before like pneumonia, right?
Yeah.
Pneumonia. So Easter was what?
What day was Easter?
April.
Yeah, we have to do our should have did our homework. Yeah, that was he was having
The
difficulty
5th.
already with just being impacted, whatever you say, when nothing was working. But yet on Easter Sunday, the effort was made for so many people to come over, and I didn't realize how many people would come, and he enjoyed being with everybody.
That last video of him and Mila or Lucas.
I think it was Mila.
Yeah.
Where they have their hands
Like
up.
this, yeah.
Oh, it was so cute. And and he had a beer, and he had some potato salad and ham, which he wouldn't even eat the day before when I was making up the potato salad and stuff. He used to always love his warm potato salad.
See, but like with everyone here, he's like,
he just forgot. Yeah, he just forgot. And that was so good for him. And that he got to church that day too. We usually did the whole vigil, like Thursday, Friday, Saturday night, the vigil mass at church. But he couldn't do that. I know he couldn't, but we got him there on Sunday, and your mom helped, thank God. And we had the wheelchair available at church, so yeah, we got him in there, and that was good, because I realize now that was the last Mass we had together. And it all started on Easter, too.
Yeah.
So it was like a full circle.
And you guys have a lot, like in terms of Easter and timeline-wise, with your story. So.
And Easter's all about the resurrection.
Yeah.
So, Christ rose from the dead to give us hope and to show us the way to get there, and it's all about following him. It's all related to our faith. Our faith is so important. I'd like to see the next generation just understand that better, to get closer to God, because that's all that keeps you going all the time. When you need him, he's there. He's there all the time.
Yeah.
Why am I getting all choked up? I was doing just fine.
It's okay. But the day after Easter, so that's when, did he go to the hospital?
Yeah, we had, it was a nurse, a male nurse from the veterans that came out, because he was going to assess him, because, I said he's having issues. Well, he wasn't here a half hour, and Uncle Brad and Uncle Brian were here, and he said, I think he needs to go to the hospital. Okay. What hospital should he go to? And I'm like,
You're supposed to.
Yeah, because he was in the bathroom. He was having such difficulty with everything. And before I knew it, we called, he said, just call the emergency squad. They'll get him to the hospital. And Uncle Brian, Uncle Brad said, take him to Akron General, I was just kind of like, whatever, because I knew I couldn't do another night. It was horrible. It was so rough on him and me. Yeah. And I just, I was crying the night before, trying to hold him and keep him in bed. And he, he just thought he had to go. He thought he had to go, but he couldn't. So that was pretty rough. Yeah, so then the next thing I knew, I'm driving. Uncle Brian drove with me to follow after they came and took him out. And he was okay with it. I said, Mom, we got to find out what's going on.
Was he so he was awake still?
Oh, yeah. Okay. He literally got him out of the bathroom onto a stretcher and said, don't worry, we're going to,
I know I FaceTimed him.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's getting blurry. So
this is the day after Easter. Yeah. The day after Easter was like, we got through Easter, and now it was time to really look at what was going on.
So from the 6th to when was he at? Did you guys go to Akron General then?
We went to Akron General, and he was there. I can't even remember. It had to be 3 or 4 days. Okay. Because they were assessing him. First, he was in the emergency room for 2 days.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah, because they didn't have rooms in the hospital. They finally got him in the hospital. I remember I went to the emergency room again, and they're, oh no, he's transferred over there. So yeah, he ended up in the hospital, and then they found that there was some cancer in the lung, and they were just looking at everything, and it started getting a little bit scary then, but they thought, maybe we could still consider some rehab, get him on his feet again now that everything was starting to work again, So, we always wanted to give him the best chance. And then we transferred him to Edwin Shaw,
Okay.
which they had an opening, and that's not easy to get in. So that all worked out beautifully too. But that's a great place, and it was all about, because he was a veteran.
I was going to say, is that a VA?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, it's still affiliated with Cleveland Clinic,
Okay.
but somehow I don't know if I even got a bill from any of them. That surprises me. Maybe it's Jessica.
Maybe don't come first.
As I recall, there was going to be no fee or something that was said about it. I don't know.
Wow.
But yeah, I mean, it's not that that's important, but at the same time, the work they do there with so many different therapists and so many people in and out. And then our family came through too. I mean, your mom was there before she went to work, and then, I'd go there before you had lunch and spend a couple hours, and then Uncle Brian would show up, and Uncle Brian, and then Jacob stopped in. And
that's why I like that we show up as a family.
Yeah.
And in all of our different ways. Like, Jake was there to keep, like, his dignity, his appearance, keep him clean shaven, keep him...
Yeah, it was all good. Uncle Brad was bringing him these, what were they, some kind of vitamin drink or something.
See, and then my mom can handle all, like, the
She took,
lingo.
Thank God, she took care of all that. I had no idea half the time really what was going on. She was like my angel at the point every time I needed her.
That be a wife then.
It did in a lot of ways. Yeah, to think about practical stuff. He needs pajamas. He needs this, or I better take these home and wash them and stuff like that. But she handled all the medical and explained it to me pretty well, so I kind of got a sense of what was going on.
And my mom's like the biggest advocate I've ever met.
Yeah, and this was her dad.
Yeah.
And she's always been Daddy's little girl. So it was hard for her in a lot of ways, I think, especially towards the end, having to make some decisions and stuff. But she sure did everything she had with all that she knew, and, talked to everybody that had to be talked to and get through all of that. I just kind of like, my daughter will be here pretty soon.
Yeah.
You want to explain that to her, or just text her, or she would text me about, what this means and that means. And, it was interesting.
She does that for so many people, though.
Oh my God. She's our family nurse advocate is what she is. And then even Bettina, she was here,
for Marley. Oh my gosh. I love how she loves Marley.
Yeah. But they were here the day Grandpa was dying, and Nick, who also, he had some experience years ago when he was, he was an EMT or trying,
to help pick Grandpa up.
He was lifting him, and Bettina was, trying this pillow, he was as comfortable as we could make him. And that was wonderful too. And then, Kara brings supper for me and, sits down, and it was just wild. I was hungry. It was perfect timing because I ate.
Well, you said her saying like dinner's ready, come sit with me, eat with me, let you have an excuse to come out of that room.
Yeah.
Breathe for a second.
Yeah, and I did. I had my in-between breaks, which were awesome because there were people in there with him all the time, keeping an eye on things. And I don't think your mother left the couch much that whole day or next to him,
Yeah. So he was only in Edwin Shaw for 2 weeks?
It wasn't, I think 2 weeks was how long he was going to stay there. And I think it was only a week and a half or something.
Well,
I can't even remember all the dates, yeah.
I know. I just know a couple days before, I keep scratching that. So. I just know a couple days before we all transferred him home. My mom walked in, he made 2 cornholes in a row.
Yeah.
We're like, what are you doing? Are you going to tell us if you're good? Or are you going to tell us if
I know. It was, even Jake got a kick. Jake got a kick up. Yeah. He tried. I think that's the most beautiful part of his whole life story. What was it? 3 years ago, he broke his neck. He went through all that, and he has Alzheimer's, and yet he never gave up. The day before we had to take him back to the hospital, because it was getting so bad.
Yeah.
He was still trying to walk with the walker that they put in front of him. They had a wheelchair right behind him.
Determined.
Yeah, but he was giving it his best and could hardly breathe. And he said several times, I can't breathe. And it was getting scary for me then. I was like, he said these things before, but this is getting, something was off. I knew that. But yeah, they would bring the wheelchair behind him and he would sit down. He got up and tried again. Finally, the therapist said, "No, we'll get you back to your room, Mr. Zumak." Or Stan, or Stash, they called him too. I mean, they were just so friendly and so kind to him.
I just like how spicy he always was, like right up until the end.
Yeah.
Get out of my room, leave me alone. Like, stop talking.
Ask Emily. Yeah, the irony of it was he was pretty out of it for the most part that last day when we had to take him to Medina Hospital, and that was to drain his lung.
Yeah.
And
that was for comfortability.
Right, and I was like, if he'll be able to breathe better, and we were all for that, and your mother agreed he needs to get it done, so we got him there. And I was still thinking, well, after he gets that done, then we'll get him back to Edwin Shaw for the rest of the therapy, and I'll be able to bring him home. Because I said to him, and he said 90,000 times during that week and a half, I want to go home.
I want
to go home.
Everybody
that came. And me, especially, he was getting upset. I want to go home.
I think to Jake, he was like, I know you will unlock these wheels and let's get out.
Let's get out. I know. I think we were all tempted,
Well, Jake moved him that one time where he's like, I want to go to bed. So Jake was like,
yeah, he lifts him up and puts him in bed.
And the nurse was like, you can't.
No, the wheelchair, as soon as he got out of the chair, there was a sign, like I don't know what it was, a noise that all the nurses ran in. Yeah, well, Jake was lifting Grandpa into bed.
Well, because he also didn't know how to put the bed rail up, so Jake was just sitting on the edge of the bed, like,
holding him in.
Move.
Oh, God. What a character. He said he doesn't weigh that much.
Oh, my gosh, that's funny.
Yeah, but that going home. I over and over and over again, I said to him, you can't go home. You have that bag on for your urine, and you have, oxygen.
Too much hooked up to you.
Yeah, I was like, once we get all that done, then we'll get you home. You got another couple of days here. Well, it ended up, yeah.
Do you feel like I know he wasn't super with it, but when you kept telling him all of that, do you feel like he was looking at you and like, okay, like
he didn't like it. But... Yeah, he didn't like it, but he was resigned. He knew he couldn't do much himself. He couldn't get up and walk out of there. Yeah. That's for sure.
I didn't know if he felt like annoyed but comforted by you, which he probably did.
That last day in the hospital in Medina, who was it? I think Uncle Brian was there early, and he said, he goes, a lady from was it St. Ambrose? What's the church right up there? St. Francis, I think, came and gave Grandpa communion that morning. And I said, oh, that's nice. And she left this little prayer card. It was really nice.
Yeah.
And then, and then it was kind of out of it. They brought his lunch in, and I was trying to get him just to take a sip of the soup. It was, I forget what kind of vegetable soup, which he likes. At least he liked it in the past. But I think I got 2 spoonfuls in him, and he says, so I said, okay. So he fell asleep again. He was sound asleep. And then I called Deacon Pete, and I said, this was after your mom said we have to think about hospice to me.
And was that after, did Grandpa, again, I might be making this up, but did he have a moment where he was like, I can't, I'm done?
No.
Okay.
No, I don't think he ever had that moment.
So that was one of the hard decisions for you and Mom.
Yeah, well, and then at the same time...
Because I don't think he would have quit.
No, she said, we're going to try to take him home, Mom. And I said, that's fine. And then I thought I better call Deacon Pete because he's going to make sure, that he could get they don't call them last rites anymore. It's the anointing of the sick, which is just, like almost like you're washed again, you know, from all your sins and everything. It's just a very beautiful end of life kind
I
of
was going to
thing.
say, is it end of
Yeah.
life?
So Pete could not get hold of Father for a while. Then finally he called me back. He said he was in Loudonville, but he's going to make it up there to Medina.
How far is
Loudonville?
I don't even know where that is.
It's probably a good 80-mile trip, if not.
Wow.
To Medina, from Loudonville to Medina. I'm not sure, but it's a drive, you know. And I don't know, the poor priest these days, we just don't have enough of them. So he does all these different parishes, and then the college in Ashland, and, you know, he gets around. But he came. When he walked in, Grandpa woke up right before he walked in, and I said, you know, Father Jim is coming. I said, he's going to anoint you, you know, it'll be good, and we'll say some prayers. He goes, oh. And Father walks in, and he's like, hi, Father, you know, shaking his hands.
And he hadn't been with it.
No.
Yeah.
He was out of it until, I just said, Father's coming. And he's like, he acted like everything was fine.
He said his prayers, too.
He prayed with us. We prayed the Our Father, the Hail Mary. Father anointed him. He put his hands out like this, and he didn't want to put his hand. I went like this.
Yeah.
I said,
He's just laying there like this.
yeah, he was like so open to what he was receiving. He was receiving, you know, Christ in another way, anointing, you know, like they did to many people in the scriptures. But he was, that was his best time that I can remember, that last couple days, you know.
Yeah.
That was his most alert time. And Father kind of looked at us like, why did you call me? This man is not that sick.
Oh, okay.
It's kind of the look he had on us. He goes, it's good to see you,
You're like, I swear.
I said, Father. I said, really? He was so out of it. We were, you know. I'm saying it right in front of Grandpa. And that was okay. Yeah.
You guys had, well, like, according to my mom, you and Grandpa had a couple frank conversations when he was lucid throughout the Alzheimer's, like, of saying, like, I don't know how that must be for you to be confused or to live with Alzheimer's.
I said to him one day,
Yeah.
when I was when he said, I can't remember, you know, he would get upset because he couldn't remember everything. And I said, you can't, but I can remember everything, you know, just ask me, I'll try to remember for you. That helped. And at the same time, too, I said one day, I said, now, if I had Alzheimer's, you know, and you were still okay mentally, I said, you would take care of me. Of course I would, you know?
Yeah.
I mean, that's just how it is when you spend your life together, you know? It's, and I think when we walked down that aisle in the beginning, we both knew this was forever.
Well, I've said that, like, you and Grandpa. Sorry. You guys take vows more seriously than anyone else I've seen in a marriage.
And we were young. We were so young.
Like, I've heard you and Grandpa talk about your vows throughout your marriage. And just, I could tell it meant a lot. And, like, the symbolism of walking on the aisle together or passing a threshold, like, really meant something for you guys. Whereas I was telling you, like, I feel like now, obviously people freestyle their vows, or it's more so for, like, the photo opportunity type of thing.
It was all about making those vows in front of God, basically. I mean, the vows, they say, you know, the way the church explains it is that's between you and him, you know. You don't have to have the priest there and everything else. You still make those vows, but you make them in church, in the presence of God and in the presence of God's people who are there to witness that, all the people that were there.
See, I can
You're
feel
saying
it
to your
too.
family, your friends, you know, this is forever. That's what we did.
I don't know. I feel like people don't take it that, like, I can feel like you believe that with every part of you, but I feel like, I don't know. Who am I to say?
No, I know. I know. It's still true, though, honey. I just pray that everyone can take those vows seriously, in that way that we did. As young as we were both practicing good young Catholic kids. That's
Yeah.
what we were. And we knew, like whatever you did in church was more important than, because God was present.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then we had the Eucharist, we shared that. We went to Blessed Mother, and he went to St. Joseph. That's what it was. I remember we turned, and he was stepping on my dress and like trying to get to Blessed Mother. And he's trying to go to St. Joseph. And then we knelt by those altars, and, in a sense, it's like Joseph the Father and Mary the Mother help us to do, I don't know, it was just a simple prayer. It's like, Mary, let me be a good wife, let me be a good mother someday like you. Oops.
But that
Not used to that.
symbolism is like, I don't know what I'm trying to convey.
It's powerful.
I guess.
It's
like,
powerful.
You guys,
In a simple way, it's very powerful because God is present in all that.
and you guys, because of those vows, were willing to work through quite literally anything, or just work as hard as you possibly can towards your marriage. Whereas I've seen a lot that do crumble off very small things, and it's like you guys had such like a solid brick foundation that it was nothing was gonna crack that.
Right. I think we knew that every time we'd have an argument, or everything would blow up in our face for something or other, and we knew we just could get through it together somehow.
But that's like such a sense of safety and security in a relationship that I fear I will never find these days. Where like you fight and you'll be okay, whereas like I don't know, I feel like I'd fight and be like, don't leave me.
It's just you'll know when it's someone that I don't know. I think I said this to you and the other girls, that I just felt safe in his arms. He would give me a goodnight kiss and just hug me, when we were dating or even engaged and stuff. Necking.
As you say.
We used to neck. Yeah. That's what you did when you were a teenager. But I just, and he tried to date other women. And I was just reading that in one of our old love letters. And he said, you did too. And how did that work?
Eddie.
Yeah.
Eddie.
But in the last thing I read, and I haven't read all those old letters when we began all that, he said something about if you date someone else, it's just like something about an artificial leg or an arm that don't fit. It's nothing like the real thing. I don't know where he got that from. I'll have to look at it again. But I thought, where did that come from, Yeah, so he said both of us, it just didn't fit. It just didn't fit right. We fit right together. We felt like it was right.
I feel like you guys were hilarious together.
Not really.
You guys dressed up like a man and a woman.
We had a lot of fun Halloween parties.
Yeah.
When we were younger, when the kids were even young. I remember getting a babysitter so we could go to Halloween parties somewhere.
That's so Real Housewives.
Half the fun was getting dressed and then seeing the other people. Oh my gosh, we would just crack up,
I know, that's why I want big Halloween parties. We gotta bring the pig roasts back.
Libby wants to do that.
I know. That'll be so fun.
Yeah.
That was where at Aunt Lori's?
Well, no, the last one was at Uncle Brad's, but we always had them in Homerville.
Okay.
When we lived there, yeah.
I remember was the last one we had for Grandpa Rizichik's birthday?
That was at Uncle Brad's. Yeah, he had a big birthday there.
I remember that. I know it was only 4 or 5, but I remember.
I think we did have a pig roast that day. There was a lot of people. It was nice. We took a big family picture there too. That's got to be around somewhere.
There's the video of us getting together for the family photo.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Because we were watching it and Jake's running around, and then you can see my dad walk into the frame, grab him, and walk inside the frame and hold it right here, and they're like.
Yeah, we need to watch those and take notes as we're watching them.
Yeah.
A lot of stuff was going on.
Those were so fun.
But, family is about having fun together, too. We had a lot of fun together.
Yeah.
A lot of good times, a lot of happy times. Yeah. It's been a very full life. He lived that full life with me for all those years.
I know. And I truly think he knew he was in his chair. Like after.
Well, a lot of people have said that.
Timeline. Like I think
A lot of people have said that. He knew he was home. That's why he died. That's why he died then. And he waited till everyone left. Your mother was on the couch, falling asleep. He was snoring. I went upstairs. She said, go upstairs and get some rest. And I thought, this could go on for days. I better get some rest. So I went upstairs. And then she hollered up the steps like, I don't know, 12:15 or something. Mom, you better come down.
and then I woke up at that time.
Did you really?
In Boston.
Wow.
Jesse woke up. That's why I was on the phone with you 20 minutes after. Because I woke up.
You just
And then
knew.
I didn't look at my phone because I
Yeah.
had a feeling. And then I flipped over my phone and my mom
Yeah.
texted me.
But it was okay when I came down. It was all right.
I was going to ask you if you knew, if you had a feeling that day. Because I don't know if you said, like, it's okay before you went upstairs.
I said, I kissed him on the forehead. I know that. And I don't know if I said go to God or I was just thinking, God, whatever, it's up to you now.
Because he was kind of still restless at that point, or did the
No,
morphine
he was,
kick in?
he did have some morphine and he was snoring. I hadn't heard him snore like that since he was like in his 30s when he was smoking. But yeah, he was like Zen pretty good, and I thought, well, at least he's finally, not restless. He's taking it easy. And then your mom said when she woke up, the snoring stopped.
That's why she woke
Yeah,
up, yeah.
and then she woke up, and it just was okay. And death is not so frightening or horrible. Grandpa used to say to me, "If you die when you're sleeping, do you know you're dead?"
That's the one thing
And
that
I
you were
couldn't-
thinking about.
I
You were like,
know.
oh, you're talking to sleep. Well, I hope he knows.
I think he knows. I think he knows.
No, I think that was, like I said, he had Marley in his lap. Like that, it was all too perfect.
No, I actually had Marley upstairs.
Oh.
But Marley had been in his lap off and on all day. We put Marley in his
We
lap.
got home in his chair with Marley for a
Yeah.
little bit.
Oh, yeah. Marley was there several times during the day. And he kind of wanted to be. Marley was trying to really be good, which was kind of touching, too, because definitely Marley was his dog.
Yeah. And I don't know, did we ever figure out if he was calling for Marley or calling for his mom and dad?
It sounded like we thought Mary was coming out. But Ma, over and over, he said.
Okay.
So I think he was calling his mom, which he called her Ma most of the time.
Yeah.
We all did. Ma.
I used to think for whatever reason we called her Grandma Busha, and I thought we were calling her Grandma. Just Grandma.
But to him, he was Ma.
Yeah.
Or she was Ma, I should say.
And I guess I never realized that video of Lucas is so cute. I guess I never realized that. I mean, I knew that Grandpa Rosicik was his stepdad, but I don't know. I didn't know like all that lore too of his bio dad and his memories of his bio dad and things.
Yeah. That's when I started trying to write a little bit of our stories down. His first memory that he recalls his mother hiding all the knives and things in the kitchen, and they hid under the table when his dad was coming home. So I think his dad was, I'm thinking, a very bad alcoholic who got very angry when he drank. I'm not sure. I never did know the whole story.
Did you ever meet Joseph?
No. He died when Grandpa was 4 years old.
Oh, okay. I didn't even know that.
That was one of his first memories, was sitting on St. Wenceslas Church steps and seeing this big black hearse pull up. He thought it was a big car. He never saw such a big car. And they took the coffin out. And then someone got him to go in church, and they said, "That's your father." That was his first and only clear memory that he remembers as a child.
Wenceslas was his elementary.
It's the church.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, the church is where he was sitting. But he hung around in that playground all the time. Oh, that's a whole bunch of stories, too. The nuns, I think they took, tried to take care of him because Busha was always working and trying to make some money to keep the food coming in and, keep her family together in this little house in the inner city.
I know we've got a lot to delve into.
There's so
Your
much.
whole childhood, Grandpa's whole childhood. Because he's got a lot. You have the deli. You've got places you hung around.
Gosh,
You know.
yeah. We both had interesting pasts before we met. We'll have to do that next time.
Yeah.
Is this getting too long?
No, it's not too long. I just
I think it's long enough. We don't want to bore people. I want to read the prayer from Grandpa's card.
Okay.
Which they only put part of that prayer on there, you know.
Is it on the whole program though?
Yeah, these were the holy cards. Yeah.
He doesn't even look like. I mean, he looks like Grandpa.
I know. That was our anniversary picture, and that was kind of done hastily. I just wanted to find a nice picture. That one I wish I did, or even when he was younger, but no one would recognize him at the funeral. Like, who is that guy, you know?
Yeah, I've got that hat now.
Yeah, our Alaska trip was, well, that's another thing we'll get into.
Yeah,
But
I'll
this,
start taking notes too.
okay, yeah, we have to.
Next time, or maybe you can have like your little autobiography thing up here.
Okay, I can have it on my iPad.
Conversation starters.
Yeah. Anyway, this is part of his prayer card, which I remembered here. I think it might have been on my dad's card too. I'm not sure. They always make these nice cards up when someone passes away. But this one I wanted especially because I always loved the verse. It's called Safely Home. Want to go home, right?
Yeah.
So that just has to be.
So great.
Yes, home with God is on his tombstone. Yeah. But this says, I am home in heaven, dear ones, so happy and so bright. There's a perfect joy and beauty in the everlasting light. All the pain and grief is over, every restless tossing past. I am now at peace forever, safely home in heaven at last. And then the rest of it that is not on here says there is work still waiting for you, so you must not idly stand. Do it now while life remaineth. You shall rest in God's own land. When that work is all completed, he will gently call you home. Oh, the rapture of that meeting. Oh, the joy to see you come. That's why I love the poem so much. Because it says we're not done. Whatever we have to still do.
Make hay while the sun shines.
Grandpa's one of his favorite sayings.
Oh my goodness. No, I think that's a good starting point because that's what made us think to make these. Because it's important. He's got too many cool stories and so do you, so we can't let them go.
No, we won't. We won't stop. I enjoy this. I think it's going to be, it's good for my soul.
It's good for me too. I feel better, even though I'll probably cry every time.
That's okay. Tears are healing.
Well,
Tears help us
looking at
heal.
his chair and
Being in the, yeah. Yeah. I just, I miss him a lot, you know, after 65 years of marriage.
I feel like a ding dong crying. Like you spent 60-some years with him.
It's okay. It's all right. Crying is okay.
I love you.
I love you too. Thanks for doing this, and for having the idea to do this.
Of course. Until next week, folks.